We quit, not the dream, not the mission. We quit the version of us that outgrew its own life. Every vision has a rhythm, and when that rhythm no longer matches your becoming, you actually feel it. It's like playing a song in the wrong key. So we quit the forcing, we quit the noise, we quit trying to make the old fit the new. Because the moment you quit what no longer fits, you step into the sacred pause, that space between what was and what's about to begin. Welcome to the episode, my friend. Welcome back to Embers Rising. I'm your friend, Wendy J, and today it is just me and you. And this episode is not about strategies, AI tools, or a special guest. It is about the power of pressing pause. The kind that happens behind the scenes, the kind that asks you to step back, to trust, to make space for what is next. Because right now, we are in the process of shedding our old self and becoming someone new. It is like we've outgrown the old version of us, or it has simply run its course. And you will know you are here when you keep showing up, keep putting in the work, and realize you're not really making gains in your personal life, in your business, in anything that matters most. Life starts actually feeling like the movie Groundhog Day. And that is your sign, my friend, your cue that it's time for something different. And it's been that way for us too. If you want to walk through this season with us, join the newsletter at wendyj.com/newsletter or tap the link in the show notes below, because that is where we're going to share the raw updates, the unfiltered moments from our rebuild, and early access to everything new we are creating from this pause. All right, now I want to take a quick moment and just honor you, because before we dive in to everything I'm about ready to share, I want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you to the people who listen, who share, and show up for this community. Your guys' messages, your reviews, your feedback, you are what fuels this fire and keeps us going. Now, whether you're brand new here or you've been with us from, the very beginning, know this, you are part of this journey. And I am so grateful that you guys are here. All right. So seriously, before we get into that takeaways that I'm about ready to share with you about pressing pause, I want to highlight a few from you, our listeners, our followers, because your guys' voices are a big part of this and a big part of this journey. So let me see if I can find my shoutouts today. I had a post that went out that's called Overwhelmed, Do This. And it was talking about feeling like your to-do list is like that long CVS receipt. How many of you been there? I've totally been there. And I think that this was a really good post. We were talking about the method that really helps you stop spinning and start breathing and finally get on track again. This was episode 65, the 3x3 framework. If I remember, it's your 30-minute reset to get back on track. So go back to episode 65, 3x3 framework. If you want to learn how to get out of the overwhelm, it is literally a 30-minute reset to get back on track. Now, a couple shout outs I had. Digital Pika Social, maybe? Wishing you the best. I should join your program. I'm sure you make an impact. Krista_relationship_coach says, love the authenticity and insights here. Thank you for sharing. Hello_Russell Media says, this hit home. Lately, it feels like my brain's juggling flaming swords while my to-do list grows by the hour. Definitely need a simple way to breathe and actually feel grounded again. Hitting play on this episode ASAP. Thank you so much. That really makes us feel good. I love when we create an episode that actually sparks. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I want to learn something from that. So awesome. And Jessie B. Social says, haha, the CVS receipt is so true. But this type of framework can be super helpful for someone like me with ADHD. Breakdowns like this are always appreciated. They actually move the needle. Thanks for dropping gems, Wendy. Thank you, Jessie. I appreciate that. It's always good to know that we're making a difference out there. Okay, cool. I have another post that went out it was a hashtag Throwback Thursday. And I was standing underneath a bridge in Sun Valley, Idaho, with graffiti. It was just so funny. I just happened to be there. And this bridge, I had my hand on the wall and I whispered this reminder of what the graffiti had in front of you. So if you're not watching this on YouTube and you're listening to this, down one of the poles underneath the bridge said, "You are SELF, you are self." And just reading that, and I was standing there and I was thinking about that, it started to remind me to come back to yourself, not the version you think people expect, not the one performing productivity, just you, present, honest, and breathing. And it kind of hits home with this episode today that we're talking about the power of pressing pause. So Abigail ITA says, "Yes, Wendy, that pause. Everyone needs silence in their mind to bring themselves back. So glad you recognize that you were just tired. We often underestimate what that one moment of pause can bring to our lives." Victoria Banzek, I'm not sure you say your last name, but now more than ever, unique and showing up personality is what people want to see because AI is making everyone sound and even look the same. Agreed. And Gabby _creative_studio says, "Sometimes we all need that moment to come back to ourselves. And isn't that true?" And now we're talking about the power of pause in this episode. Digital Solution by Namrata says, "Sometimes the most powerful moments aren't polished or performative. They're raw, grounding, and deeply human." Totally agree. And Natty _creator says, "That reminder to come back to yourself. It's something I didn't know I needed to hear today." Cool. Thank you so much, Natty, for saying that. I really appreciate that. So that is just really good. So I want to share why we are pressing pause and talk a little bit about that because, there's a few different reasons why. So let me just jump into this. Reason number one, we're focused on racing. Okay, so this year, you all know, if you've been following us or hanging out with us, we are deep into training right now. David finished his Ironman a couple of weeks ago, but I can tell you it is more than logging miles or tracking splits, right? It is waking up before sunrise, lacing up to beat the 100-degree summer days, and choosing to run when every muscle is telling you to roll over and stay in bed. Those 3:30 a.m. wake-up calls, those are difficult. But when we get out there and are able to get the work done, we're so proud of ourselves. It's really about learning how to fuel better, recover smarter, and manage the mental game when your body hits the wall. And training right now is teaching us so much more discipline in a way that sometimes your business never can. And it really forces us to face our limits, right? And then you find one more gear, I like to say, especially when you work with a coach that adds to your training calendar a 5-hour long run. And I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to accomplish that? So we are taking a pause because I'm getting ready to go to my first 50K trail race of the year. I've spent a lot of time this year healing my body. And this is my first race, hypothetically, with my coach. So I brought on a coach first of the year, and we've been training and healing my body. And this is the first time I get to actually make this effort out there with someone who's been with me through the whole season here. I'm excited to see what I can do. And I have an action prompt for you who's listening to that because I want you to bring some consciousness to what is your race. What is the thing right now that demands your attention, your focus, the thing that pushes you right to the edge? Maybe it's launching that creative project you've been putting off, or training for a local 5K race, or finally learning this skill you keep saying you will get to someday. What I suggest is pick the thing, put it on the calendar, and then carve out time around it to press the pause. So for us, we have to press pause for next week. We're heading to our race and I need full focus. So I will not be here in the studio to be available with you. So it's just important that you know that. And that was one of the reasons, my reason number one. And reason number two, for you on that action prompt is for you to just be reminded of what your own race is and carve out the space around it. Okay. Reason two, we are focusing on a big grand adventure. And this grand adventure was inspired by Jeff Peltier and Audrey Lafreniere, who had a YouTube video called Grand Teton Loop. And I'll post it right here if you're watching this on YouTube. And you can click in the show notes to go check it out. The Grand Tetons is actually, it's something I didn't expect to do, but after watching their video, it looked so inspiring with the trail that it became not just a date on our calendar. We knew it would be a physical and mental challenge. There was logistical commitments. This is a very, if you don't know the Grand Teton Loop, this is a 40-mile rugged terrain, my friend, of backcountry, meaning there is no shortcut. There is no opt-out halfway through. You carry what you need, what comes. We have to adapt to whatever the trail gives us, the weather, what have you. We've got a lot of elevation to climb up there. It is taking us a lot of preparation in a lot of months in advance with back-to-back runs and elevation and gear testing and figuring out how our body's going to keep going after 12 straight hours of movement. This adventure really represents stepping into the unknown for us, and we're stepping into it with a lot of confidence, knowing that this experience will also shape us in ways of comfort that really there's nothing else that could. And I say that because a lot of the times we take on an adventure, but we kind of know the outcome. We know it's going to be epic, but I think the view and the scenery and the experience is just going to be that much more rich. It's the same thing with my 50K race. I'm driving to a location that I've never been. I'm doing the race in a location that a trail I've never ran on. I've just been training somewhere else. And now I'm driving there to go do this. It's just going to be so beautiful. It will change me in a way, and I'm hoping that I'll get the confidence from that race. I remember sitting with my coach the other day talking about choosing two types of goals, success goals and process goals. And my success goals were all about, I want to finish the race. There was a certain time I wanted to finish by, and I want to have these kind of outcomes. My process goals were a lot differently. My process goals were, hey, I really want to have a smile on my face and enjoy my time. I want to make sure that during my process that I'm taking time to stretch at the aid stations. Part of my process was nailing my nutrition and hydration during the time I'm out there doing the 50K, and also minding my own business, just being my mantra of mind my own business, not thinking or looking or judging myself around anyone else. So those were my process goals. Same thing here. I have to ask you kind of, what is your adventure goal? So for us, we're doing the Grand Teton Loop. Super exciting, but that's something that we've put on our plate. What is your goal? The thing that excites you, the thing that scares you maybe. Maybe it's hiking a local trail that you've never tried. Maybe it's signing up for a challenge or a workshop or traveling somewhere you have always dreamt of going. Maybe you haven't booked it. Get it on the calendar and then build towards it. That's probably the most important thing that you can do in this life, is actually book adventures that you never thought possible for yourself. Okay, so now you know a couple of reasons why we're pressing pause or quitting, because we're reinventing a lot of things, and these next two have to do with that. So reason number 3 is because we are going to focus on a big one, my friend, and this is synchronicities. When you are running at full speed like we are, you can sometimes easily miss the signs. These are the subtle invitations, the conversations that could change your trajectory. Since slowing down, we have noticed, very interesting enough, the right people showing up at the right time. A casual message is turning into a deep collaboration. A podcast guest is leading to an unexpected opportunity. A friend introducing us to someone who ends up being the missing piece to our next move. These moments do not come when you are forcing the plan so hard. They appear when you are present enough to notice them. That is so powerful. And recently, we kind of had in the last couple of weeks, I would say in the last week, we had a bunch of synchronicities drop in. In a couple of weeks previously, we had a synchronicity came in and I was paying attention to that. And then next week, we just had like 4 back-to-back things that happened. And I was at the end of the week going, wow, I can't believe all that happened. I'm not sure how to make the next step happen, but I know that it feels like we're all in alignment and there's people believing us within us on the other side that want to see us go to this next level. And we're really excited to share that with you, by the way. So definitely join my newsletter to learn more about that at wendyj.com/newsletter, or click the link below. I have to say that because it's so exciting and I want to make sure to include you. So when we're talking about synchronicities, my action for you today is, for this next week, keep a synchronicity journal or write it on your phone. Write down every unexpected connection or idea or moment of, man, I was just thinking about that. And at the end of the week, read it back to you and look for patterns, because those patterns, my friend, are not random. They are direction for you to stop doing what you are doing and maybe move in a different direction. That's what we're looking at too. So when we're talking about pressing pause, this is one of the reasons we're talking about pressing pause, because we've seen a lot of synchronicities come in and I'm thinking, oh, I think that's a direction that I really want to go, that I've been called to go, that I didn't even know was possible to go. So definitely start paying attention. Synchronicities, my friend. Reason number 4. This is a big one. Focus on the calling. This pause is also about the bigger question of who do we truly want to serve and who do we want to be in that process. It's easy to keep building what works to say yes to the next opportunity because it looks good on paper and we've done it, even if it doesn't light you up inside. But chasing what is safe and proven eventually leaves you restless. And I have felt that myself. You start asking, if we could only work with one type of person for the next 5 years, who would it be? And the answer for us is clear. We want to serve the one who is ready to do the deep work, not just the quick fix, the ones building with heart, not hustle. That is who we want to serve. So I'm going to remind you to do the same thing. I want to remind you to write down, and this is a very simple exercise, my friend. Write down the 3 groups of people who you feel most drawn to help. It could be parents, children, certain organizations, a health and wellness group. It could be a type of school. It could be an entrepreneur, a creator, a videographer. It really anybody. But write down 3. And then the next step is circle the one that most excites you. Then ask yourself, what would it look like to build your next season entirely around serving that group of people? It kind of reminds me of this quote about becoming from Michelle Obama's book called Becoming, when she said, becoming is not about arriving somewhere or achieving a goal. It is about figuring out who you are becoming, and the process never stops. That line stopped me because somewhere along the way, I confused movement with meaning, success with alignment, and visibility with authenticity. So it's why, again, we choose to pause. Now, I want to take a moment because every week I'm on a webinar. In fact, I'm usually on at least 2 webinars a week learning, whether it's AI or personal growth or different creators. I'm always on webinars. And recently I attended the virtual Mind Valley U event. One of the most powerful sessions I watched was with Vishen Lakhiani and Roxy Nafosi. It happened to be the same day ChatGPT 5 rolled out. And they spoke about the truth of manifesting for humanity. And Vishen shared something from GPT-5 that really struck me deeply. Are you ready for it? Okay, I'm going to share it. It starts like this. The universe does not care about the pretty picture in your mind. It cares about your capacity to hold what you are asking for. Every time you set an intention, life does not send you the thing. It sends you the curriculum. You ask for love, and you meet the parts of you that push it away. You ask for abundance, and you meet every belief that says you're not enough. You ask for freedom, and you meet every chain you have forged yourself. Manifestation isn't about calling something in. It's about letting go of every part of you that isn't ready to receive it. That is why it feels hard. That is why it feels slow. The thing you want already exists. You, my friend, have to become the person who can live inside it without collapsing, sabotaging, or shrinking yourself. So my prompt action step for you today is ask yourself, what have you been asking for lately? Write it down. And then list the challenges or the patterns that have been showing up in your life. When you do that, you will notice those are not distractions. They are your curriculum. The vision is the bait, my friend. The becoming is the work. That also leads me to another quote by Carl Jung that said, "We do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." What he means is this. Real growth is not just about visualizing the perfect life or focusing only on the good. It's about facing the parts of ourselves we would rather avoid, because those are the pieces that hold the lessons, the healing, and the strength we need to step into the next version of ourselves. I hope that quote hit you powerfully, because that is a very, very true statement. So the transformation framework begins with this, my friend. If you are in your own pause season like us, here is a simple way to navigate it. Step number 1, identify what no longer fits. Maybe it's a business offer that once worked but now drains your energy. Maybe it's a relationship dynamic that used to feel supportive but now feels really heavy. Name it, acknowledge it, and move on. Step 2, create the space before filling it. Resist the urge to immediately fill your calendar when something ends. Take a week or a month to allow rest, reflection, and recovery before adding something new. So important. Like we are doing, we are taking that break. Even though we have some events planned, we have some recovery days in there. Intentionally plan for us to regroup, for us to take a brain check, not fill our calendars. Those are intentional days where we have nothing on our calendar. Now, usually, David and I are planned about 5 to 6 weeks in advance. Currently, as we've pressed pause, we have opened up our calendar because we know we're making some changes. And my entire team knows about this, and you will know more about it if you get behind the scenes with us. So really encourage that. But let me keep going. I want to give you 2 more. Step 3, lean into synchronicities, my friend. I just talked about that. You get invited to an event you didn't plan for or meet someone who sparks a new idea. Man, say yes to it. Trust that the moments that are coming in hold for you the next step. Step number 4, redefine who you're becoming before you act. So before launching that new project or making a big change, ask, does this align with the person I want to be next year? Let that answer be your action. Because if I can think about the things that are on my plate right now, of the possibility of what just came in, immediately I'm scared. And I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. It sounds cool. I don't know if I have the confidence to go forward with that. But I'm also looking at people that are believing in me. Sometimes you feel like, well, are they believing in me? I've been in marketing for so many years. I'm like, man, are they believing me, or is this just a sales pitch? But I also see that people are making effort towards me. And I'm like, man, this is a new direction. Now, if I were to say, could I step into this role next year? Oh, that would be epic. So to recap, the power of pause. If you are in a space between who you have been and who you know you are meant to become, you are not off track. You are exactly where you are supposed to be, my friend. And you are not lost. You are not being refined. You are not failing. You are in the middle of the becoming, because the pause is not a step back. It is a conscious recalibration. The silence is not absence. It is clearing that makes space for what's next. And what feels like a breakdown is often the exact moment the breakthrough begins. Because I just remember telling someone last week during one of our conversations, I said, my friend, I feel like I want to quit. And they said back to me, do not do this. And then they said, when you get to the top of the Grand Tetons, ask this. Wipe your slate and ask yourself from kindergarten, who do you want to become and who do you want to serve? When you know that, that is your moment and direction. And that's how powerful pressing pause can be. A little mantra that I like to say when I'm in this space is, I'm not waiting, I am becoming. Say it again. I'm not waiting, I am becoming. That's your mantra. So you're not waiting, you are becoming. So the power of pause is you're becoming, but you need to be intentional about the becoming. Not just like, oh, I'm going to take a pause, take a vacation, and not really work on anything. I think it's important to set those things up that we talked about, pay attention, be intentional about it, and think about the manifestation that I just talked about. What and who you really want to become, who you could see yourself serving the next 5 years. All right, my friend, I've got to wrap this up. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend who might need to hear it today. Would love it if you could rate the show on Spotify, leave a comment or review on Apple Podcasts. I read every single one. It means so much to us. And hey, follow us on YouTube. We are pushing these out there. It does take a little while for us to actually get the videos cut on YouTube, but please follow us on YouTube for upcoming episodes and behind the scenes. It means so much to us. And if you want to stay connected in the quiet work of this pause, please join my newsletter at wendyj.com/newsletter. And remember, my friend, don't just light the match. Don't light the match to watch it burn. I like to say, be the wildfire and show up for the dreams that are burning inside you. Let the old self go and rise into what is next. And by the way, that's why this show is called Embers Rising. It's why I named that show, because I've always been in this season of transformation. Now that I believe in you, know that I believe in you. I do believe in you. You got this, my friend. You got this. Keep pushing the boundaries. Keep waking up. Keep chasing those horizons. Every day you are alive and living, and you have the ability to serve. So let's get in and do the work. And most importantly, fuel the fire inside. Remember, Embers Rising. Fuel those flames that are deeply inside you, that are so wanting to go to next level. And maybe it's time for you to hit your power pause today. Do it and make a plan to regroup. Go climb the Teton of what your Teton is. Go climb that Grand Teton. Go have that overlook. Get a different perspective. And then go after your dream. And I'll see you on the other side. Aloha.